Bizarre Brain Comics. Oh, hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Well, this time, I'm going to do some follow-up to some others. Several months ago, I got several British comic papers, and I showed them collectively as in haul videos, but then started doing some deep dives into the issues. So this is so I want to take a look at this one. This is The Wizard, the super picture story paper for boys. This is, of course, as I said, this is a British comic. It's a comic paper. This is from September 11th, 1976. And it was 5p. That's how much it cost, 5p. And these papers, they're all black and white except for the front page. And is literally a paper. It's tabloid-sized paper. There's no staples in the middle. Nothing like that. They're loose paper, uneven cut, just like you'd get with paper on a newsprint. And of course, these had several. Each issue would have several stories, a chapter of ongoing stories for each issue. So on this one, and so then the cover feature would change. Last time it was I showed you. I think it was it the Sword of the Falcon was on the cover. It's all in blue. This time, on the cover we have Huck McPhee. Only his tomahawk stands between Huck McPhee and the cougar's claws and flashing fangs. See Huck McPhee. Okay, Huck McPhee is our lead story this time. And these chapters are usually three or four, sometimes 5 pages long. And of course, most of these pages tell as much story so that they're roughly the equivalent of about 2 standard American comic pages in size and content. Okay, and Huck McPhee. Huck McPhee takes place in the American colonial period. He is a teenage boy who has been living with in a Delaware village, has been accepted into the tribe, and but he has been and he's basically on a quest trying to find the Scarlet Arrow. I've forgotten what the reason was for, and he is on the run because he was framed for the murder of a British officer, and so he is on the run, and that's where we are at now. There, and as I said, it's all black and white. There's Huck McPhee. There's Huck, and he's got his dog. I've forgotten his dog's name. And there's each page has its own title. Can Huck save the Colonel from the killer cougar? Well, we'll see. And he sees reward posters up for him. And there's a reward for him being paid by the government, and another fellow, Don Cordova, offers an equal reward for him, dead or alive. And that's because Cordova is the person who framed Huck McPhee for the murder of that British officer. And there they have some vigilantes and stuff, soldiers. They're out scouring the woods for him, and there's a colonel standing right there. Well, Huck observes him from hiding and sees a cougar about to pounce on the colonel. He gets him with an arrow, but he's not dead. It's enough to distract him. And then Huck and the dog go after the cat head to head. Now, this is one thing that kind of seems kind of odd to me, is because that would have been a really cool scene. Here you see Huck going after the cat. Here the cat is dead. in the next panel. Well, they should have had at least one big panel of the actual combat there. That would, I mean, that would have been thrilling, something cool. But they skip over the exciting parts. That's just odd. He explains to the colonel that all this that he was framed, and yada yada yada, and said. Then he hears people coming. He goes back into the woods. Well, the colonel is kind of leaning towards Huck because he saved his life, and this people will come up. It's Cordova himself, he's also out looking for Huck, and and Huck goes back to the village, and they said, "Oh, white men are coming. You have to take off," and they tell him to go to the hills. Said when it is safe, the Anaco, which is his Indian name, his Delaware name, to return to the village. Broken Knife will send him word. Anaco thanks you, Chief. Broken Knife, I will do as you say. So he does. Well, he goes, and then this is Cordova, and he's doing some trading with the natives here, and he kind of cons them into telling them where Huck's at, and trying to get them. He tries to get them to hunt him down too, but they refuse that. But he does fall for the trick and tells him where Huck's at, and so Huck is being pinned down by the evil guys. Then our next story is Blake's Blenheim. Now, for those who may not be aware, I wasn't, and I had to look it up. Blenheim was a British bomber aircraft used in the early part of World War II. Blake is the pilot. It's a three-man crew. There's a bombardier, the pilot, bombardier, and a waist gunner. And the pilot, Blake, and his waist gunner hate each other. So they're constantly bickering, and it's the bombardier who is always breaking them up. Well, here they are. They're coming in for a bad landing because the plane, after a mission, the plane was all shot up, and come for a bad landing. The plane is not quite ready for the scrap heap, but it's pretty close. So that's why this plane is selected for a special mission, because on an earlier flight they had discovered a Gestapo headquarters building, and I'm not sure what country it's going into. Could be might be France. I'm not positive, because they never really say. And so they have a special mission. Has this Blenheim is supposed to go on the mission, which is just the whole mission is a ruse to get Blake most of the way to his target. So when the fighter cover let him go, and they take care of another target. Well, Blake and company go farther on, find the target, and bomb it. Boom. Now, in their mission, they're supposed to head back, get as far as they can, and then bail out and let the plane crash, because it's in bad shape and it's no big loss. But they've gone through so much with this aircraft, they decide they're going to go all the way with the plane until they get most of the way back, or about half the way back, and they find an open area, and they have to land, and there they are met by the partisans, the underground, fighting against the Germans. So they decide they're going to stay there. All they need is they can raid the Germans for fuel, ammunition, and parts, and they're going to stay and with the partisans and continue fighting the war from there for a while, because the plane was stationed in Malta, out of Malta. I forgot to mention that, out of the island of Malta in the Mediterranean. So then we'll see what happens next, because it's ongoing. Then there's Big V rules OK, or big, is that supposed to be V or 5? I'm not sure. This is something about a soccer team having some kind of mystical prophecy involved thing. I don't even understand it, because I don't play soccer, and I don't understand the other stuff. Here we go. Blade of the Falcon. Last time, what's his name? The young Saxon chieftain Derek. He has this this mystical blade, goes Blade of the Falcon, and it tells him stuff through, and it is helping him lead. And it's while they were under attack from some Vikings, it led them to safe haven, some kind of reflective thing that blinded the Vikings and sent them back to their ships for a little bit. But now they're going on. There's a village. Oh, it turns out the village is deserted. Don't know why. Food left on the table, etc. Some stuff destroyed. Then up the sword, mysteriously of its own volition, flings itself from Derek's hand and buries itself in the ground. Then, Derek, look, a demon from the pit. That's a monster. Someone comes busting up out of the ground. Ah! Or is it out of the water? Out of the water nearby. And comes up. Oh, Derek is desperately trying to pull the sword out, but it won't come. And then the beast gets up on land and heads for him. Then the sword comes out, and just in time for a shaft of light to hit the blade just right into the beast's eyes and blinds it. Then the sword whacks itself against a stone wall and causing sparks, which causes the blaze in the village, distracting and disarming the beast. Meanwhile, the Vikings have returned. They see the smoke from the flames, so they know right where they are. They're rush off. So Derek and his men are trying to get to their ship, but they're cut off because one of the Viking ships has gone up to their ship. So they can't get to the ship. The beast has come back to land, and they are between a rock and a hard place here. They got the beast coming after them from one side, the Vikings coming after them from the other side. Oh, what is going to happen? We'll have to wait till next week to see what happens. I think the sword has set this up because it's going to have the beast go after the Vikings. We'll see. Then there's a thing in here, the Seventh Skull. Simon Gaunt's story. This is a story of a civil war. This is always various supposedly true stories. This is a story about a civil war in the Zulu nation centuries ago. Then an ad for Frosted Flakes, but they don't call them Frosted Flakes. They just call them Frosties, and they still use Tony the Tiger. Oh, then there's Simpson. I don't understand this. This is cricket and some spy stuff. The guy's a James Bond type spy, and I don't understand, and it's got too much cricket stuff in there for me to understand. Anyway, but it does wind up with a little bit of violence at the end. Oh, geez. And it has some little articles here. Read all about it. And the Talking Birds of Lonely Wood. And a couple pages of that. Then we're going to finish up the story here with The Last Bust from Brussels. This is a group of British school kids who were visiting in Brussels at a museum at some kind of exhibit when the Germans invaded in 1940. They gathered all the schoolboys up together, got in this London double-decker bus that was there on display, gassed it up, and they took off, and they're trying to get out of Belgium into France. Well, here they finally got into France, and they're lost. They don't know where they are. And then they get off the road because they hear tanks coming. Well, turns out they're British tanks. Get the bus gets stuck. The tank driver helps him out, and his boss chews him out for for helping him out. Then the British Army goes on, but they are sent packing by the German panzers. Then so the bus takes a bunch of the wounded soldiers on the bus because they've got room, so they don't have to ride on top of the tanks. And said, "Oh, it's the sergeant who helped them out when they were in trouble." And then here's also the sergeant who chewed him out for helping him. I bet he's glad that they helped him now. Yeah, and we'll see what happens next in the next issue. I don't know how many issues of The Wizard I've got, but that was it, and that was a lot of fun. I would really like to have more. I've got a small handful of these British comic papers, and I plan on covering more of them. But every once in a while, because they are a lot of fun, and I would have loved having some of these when I was a kid. We had some American versions of these when I was a kid, but we didn't. So I have to make do now. But it's because they are so unusual, one of the reasons why I like them. So that's all I have to share with you this time. So please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of The Wizard and Huck McPhee or any of the other stories in this paper. It's all a lot of fun and adventure. And remember, comics are art.